Hello friends and welcome back. Today is another bag review video. I know it's been quite a while since I have done one of them, but today I wanted to talk about my Celine canvas tote bag. It's such a great bag and I've not done a review. I haven't talked much about it at all since I bought it almost 2 years ago. So that is definitely my bad because I have been using this a lot. I really like it. I'm really happy I have it. There are some things that I think is worth keeping in mind if you're considering buying this bag. You may want to stay clear of it, so I will go through all of that. It's so large, I'm kind of like having to bend out a frame. Let's see, that's a little bit better. It is definitely a large bag. I bought this, I think, almost 2 years ago, and I've used it quite a lot, and I bought it sort of end of summer, so I wore it for fall, and then I also wore this throughout winter, even though I definitely think this is the perfect sort of spring and summer bag. And what I really love about this is that it's so minimal and sleek, just understated, apart from the huge logo. You can just turn it around and it's very plain. I just love the simplicity of this, and also the color scheme I just think is beautiful. If I'm traveling, this is actually such a great bag because it can fit a ton. As you will see from the side here, this is quite wide and you have these buttons that you can just open up and you can get such a wide bag. I've even used this as like an overnight bag, but if I'm doing anything where I'm dragging along a lot of things, I think this is such a good bag. I will show you at the end sort of all the things that I tend to stuff in here, but it varies a lot. So even though it's definitely not your sort of crossbody, easy to carry, go anywhere bag, it is very well used and loved, and it actually has a lot more use than I thought it would. I was a little bit uncertain about the lightness of this bag. I'm not super rough on my bags, I will say that, but it's held up quite well. It does get a couple marks underneath because I put it down on the ground. I don't want to have a bag that I'm terrified of using, because then I've just spent a lot of money annoying myself and complicating my own life, so I'm not doing any of that. If you're very sort of worried about having a light bag and getting any sort of mark, maybe stay clear. The canvas has a little bit of that sort of, what do you call it, sort of a mottled look to it, where the color is not completely uniform, so tiny marks and things like that just appear as if they are part of the canvas really. Actually, before this video I took it out and I saw that I had a couple marks. I had some on the front here and I just cleaned them off. I will show you because I actually filmed it. I figured I will see how it goes. And I also had a mark on the inside here. It's still a little bit wet from me removing that. On the inside here you can see that sort of like circle shape there. One thing you should be aware of is that whatever cleaning agent you are trying to use on this, use it on the bottom first to see if it's going to leave like a mark, like a ring where it dries. Just test anything on the bottom of the bag first and see what it looks like. For me, that has been completely fine. So what I will say is that I always spray all of my bags with Carbon Pro, and this is no exception. I have it right here. I'm gonna treat it after this video. I tend to spray my bags quite often. If I use them a lot, I spray it more. Remember that when you're spraying this onto your bag, it creates a very thin protective film, and that film wears down. So you want to keep spraying your bags, it's not a one time and you're done kind of deal. Canvas can be a little bit tricky to clean because you have to be careful with what you use to clean it, because you can get those spots and everything. So that's the only thing I would say about that. I'm gonna list all the sort of specs, the information about this bag and everything. It's canvas. These are in calf leather. This clochette also comes with the bag. As you can see, it's completely crumpled up. I don't really wear it on the bag. I find it a little bit annoying. The keys are also in there. I mean, you can't close this. There is no theft protection whatsoever. You can put things into this really large pocket. The padlock isn't for any other reason than aesthetics. The metal hardware here, it also says Celine on the sides. But otherwise, it's just canvas. There isn't any leather. There are also no feet on the bottom here, and The bottom isn't really reinforced in any way whatsoever. It's just completely soft, so if you have a lot of heavy things, it can sort of, the bottom can cave down like a little bit. And also obviously when it's empty you can see it's very, very soft, but it will stand on its own. It's not like it's falling over or anything, so it does have a little bit of structure. I think it's a very high quality canvas. It feels really, really nice. And just before I bought this bag, I also bought the canvas clutch. I don't think that's sold anymore, but it's completely like exactly the same. It's just a clutch. It has the logo and everything. I really, really, really like the quality on the canvas of that one, which is why I also grabbed the bag. And I looked at quite a few different canvas bags when I was buying this one, but I love that this is a little bit more contained, that it's a little bit taller rather than really long. If you have to, you can always wear it like this if you need that space. So you can see you have the seam going down here, and you have like just a little light lining of a canvas on the inside. It's a very sort of simple bag. There isn't any other bells and whistles to it. I kind of wish it had a couple more smaller pockets that I could stuff my phone and wallet, things like that into it, because you just have this one that is quite large. We're gonna ignore that I have stuffed basically all the receipts I have in here. It's really large. You can fit quite a few things in there if you want a little bit more security. When I'm not putting all my receipts in here, I do keep my phone and things like that in there. But that's the only thing I kind of wish it had more pockets. Maybe some feet, a stiffer base. That's it. However, I will say I really love this bag. It is just so clean and crisp and easy to style. And because of the size, I actually think this is a great sort of work canvas tote as well. It's canvas, so it's a lot lighter than a bag in leather of this size would be, like much lighter. It can get a little bit heavy, and the reason why is that you only have this as a way to carry it, and I can get this on my shoulder. It does actually say on the Celine website that this is shoulder carry, and as you can see, yes, I can carry it that way, but it gets like a little bit wide. I'm going to show some cutaway clips so you can see that it's just a little bit too wide, which is great because I can fit so many things, but it tends to stick out from my body a little bit, so I don't find it the most sort of comfortable to wear it this way. As you can see, my arm has to go somewhere, and that tends to squish the bag in, so I can't fit as much. So for me, I tend to carry it either like in the crook of my arm or just hand carry it. So I love this for when I don't have like very long distances to walk. If you're on like public transportation, you have to walk quite far and you carry quite a few things, you might want a bag where you have a shoulder strap instead, or in addition to these. When I have been traveling with this bag and I have one of these like rolling suitcases, it is perfect because you can just put it on top of your suitcase and it's just perfect. So apart from the weight, as I mentioned, it's just the lightness of the bag I would be sort of considering a little bit. For me, I've just accepted that eventually this is going to get marks that I can't get out, but I've just decided to embrace the sort of more lived in look of this. For the quality, otherwise, this has held up so well. It's kept its structure. As I mentioned, the bottom will be a little bit loose, but that has been the same from day one. Everything that is to this bag is well made. One of my favorite things about this bag is definitely the straps, and I know that sounds a little bit strange, but for me, on larger tote bags, that is definitely one of the points where I really measure the quality of a handbag, how the handles hold up when you're stuffing the bag full of things, and these have held up so well. They are leather and they haven't had any sort of cracking. The glazing is perfect. It's so well done, and the stitching around the handles here as well, perfect. The glazing has stayed perfectly intact, no cracking whatsoever, and they are just stitched on so securely. I never worry when I stuff this full, which I tend to do with a lot of larger bags. That is always where I kind of worry a little bit. I think I've just had too many of them sort of break on me, and that's just not the funnest experience. I can't fault it whatsoever on the quality. In a C, because it's definitely a C at this point, of designer canvas tote bags, I would say this is a great contender. It's definitely not one of those everyone has, but it's also just such a great shape on it. It's a little bit more contained. A beautiful choice. I'm really happy that I have it, and I would still think it's good quality for the full price. I will say that. I have had some of you contact me and be a little bit sad that I got it way underpriced when you paid full price, but I will say I still think it's worth that price for the quality, especially when we're talking about designer bags in that sort of this canvas tote bag market. They have gone so wildly up in price. It is absolutely crazy. I think it is still 1,450 euros, which is what it was when I bought it 2 years ago. So they haven't done any of those like crazy price hikes. It has a couple of times been included in the private sale, so if you're already a customer there, that might be something to look out for. I will show you what I carry in this bag as well, because it can fit deceivingly much. So I've already put in my laptop. As you can see, it goes down like this. It is a 14-inch laptop and that still fits in. I also have this big DSLR camera that goes in obviously perfectly. I tend to have like a little bit of like a makeup pouch with makeup and just a compact, some sunscreen, and I also have my agenda. I tend to always have a book going in as well. As you can see, you can just fill and fill and fill this bag. I also really love having one of these smaller bags, so I just put my phone, my wallet, keys, small essentials into this bag, partly because this doesn't have any smaller pockets, but also because I love just having this bag. If I take this large one to work, I love having a small one I can carry if I'm going out, just popping out for lunch or to the shops or anything, so I don't have to carry this with me all day. Obviously my sunglasses, again, this is where a smaller pocket would be great. If I'm a bit extra, because my hair is so long at this point, I pop in a hairbrush. I could also put in a block of paper, and then I would just put lunch or a water bottle, some snacks, something. As you can see, this is still fairly roomy. There is still quite a lot of space left here, and that is why I think it is so great for traveling. You can just keep stuffing and stuffing and stuffing this bag. And obviously if I don't have my laptop and just have fewer items, I will button the ends here, so it's a little bit smaller. It is a little bit of a Mary Poppins bag. You can see here I can even stuff a water bottle down here. So I just put down the camera, so as you can see, it is quite heavy, but it can very easily hold everything. There isn't any excess strain on the straps here. You still have far more room. It's really only going to depend on how much muscle you have. And I still love that it's just slouching in such an aesthetic way. It's such a beautiful bag. I'm really, really happy I have it. Hopefully this review was helpful. I'm gonna say it's not for everyone, and it's definitely not for every kind of use, but it's such a great bag. I will catch up on some more bag reviews as well, so subscribe if you want to see more of those, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!